Welcome to the first episode of our podcast, After Hours. Many people know the staff and students at Patrick Fogarty for their presence at school, but they live equally interesting lives after clocking out. They possess a unique melting pot of interests that make the school a truly interesting place to explore. My name is Gabriel.
And my name is Landon. In this episode, we'll take a look at some personalities at Patrick Fogarty to reveal what they do after hours.
Today we have Miss Osborne here with us. Miss Osborne is an important figure at school, heading the drama department and taking a lead role in many keynote plays. However, few people know she has an equally active professional life outside of school. Not only is she a distinguished actor, she has played many roles in the commercials that people know and love today. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today, Miss Osborne. Is it true that you used to act in advertisements?
Yes, that is true. I did some modeling when I was younger, and that kind of brought me into work in print. Sometimes it was just a print ad. Sometimes it was commercial. Sometimes it was even as an extra on a set. And then in more recent years, I have been doing content creation. So you can often find me on social media. Sometimes people come up to me, they're just scrolling through social media and they find an ad and I'm in it and they just ask me, is this you? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. So yes, that does happen.
That's incredible. What are some companies you've made advertisements for?
I do a lot of advertising for skincare and makeup. So some of the brands that I've worked with that you might know or your audience might know is one of them is Nivea. So Nivea is a pretty popular skin cream that you can see in like Shoppers Drug Mart and things like that. The thing that's really interesting about it though is that when I did my work for Nivea, it was only seen in like Norway. So a lot of the work that I do is not really for a North American market. I get a lot of requests for jobs from places in like Eastern Europe or in other parts of Europe. So like Germany or Norway or so it's unusual to see me in something North American, but it does happen sometimes. Some other advertisements that I've done recently that people have seen me in is Betty Casino. So that was a big one that a lot of people saw. I did a job recently for a pet company where it's like a GPS for your dog. So the dog was wearing a collar, and then I was with my dog. Just yesterday, I did a shoot for a company that I work with a lot. It's just another skincare brand. But again, a lot of these are not necessarily something that you'd see on the shelves at our local stores.
That's really cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And what got you into acting in the first place?
Well, my mother was a model and did some acting and theater when she was younger. And so then when my brother and I were little, she always kind of promoted that and put us into theater and dance and things like that. So it's sort of just something that we grew up with our mom, who sort of put us into that avenue. And then for me personally, it was more started from modeling as a teenager, and then that sort of grew into working on commercial sets.
That's awesome, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
For our second interview, we'll be talking to Mr. Bosco. He owns the basketball company Naismith, and we're going to be asking him a couple of questions about that. So welcome, Mr. Bosco.
Thanks, guys. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here. So to start us off, what inspired you to get into basketball?
Yeah, I actually have loved basketball my whole life. It's been my favorite sport and played basketball at Patrick Fogarty as a student. So that's where it kind of started off for me there. And continue on university, took a phys ed degree. And basketball was always my passion. Even there, I was always involved with the university basketball team and decided through university that I wanted to coach. That was one of the things that one of my passions in life was I knew I wanted to coach. So that kind of directed me towards teaching and phys ed degree, knowing that I'd also be able to be at high school and schools and be able to coach the things that I love.
And what would you say is your big vision for Naismith, and how close do you think you are to reaching that?
Well, that's a really good question. Every year I always think about what can we do to make it better? And how can we exceed last year's expectations? And that's always the goal, is you never want it just to be the same. You always want it to grow and get better and bring out the best you can within the camp and with the staff and with the kids. The nice thing is we have a waiting list every year and we sell out in one day. It's incredible that we have such a high rate of returnees, and there's lots of energy about coming back. So the idea is to get this to be a camp their kids want to and need to come back every year because they love it like we do. We have our coaches that love to come back because they love it. They bring their kids now because of how much they love it. So I think that keep that tradition of just a family. And the term that we use there, and they use it was before I got there, was the best week of the summer. So that's kind of what we say about Naismith. That's in all of our literature as well. So I wanted to continue to be the best week of the summer for people who are there, not only the staff, but most importantly the kids.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure having you here with us today.
I think it's great. Thanks for doing this, guys. I'm excited that you had me here, and I appreciate the time that you guys gave me.
Yeah. Have a good day.
And now, a quick word from David United, the sponsor of our podcast.
Imagine a world where you can clean sinks, flavor food, enhance your car's engine, and suppress fires with one handy spray. This world now exists with one of the greatest innovations of our century, David's all-purpose utility spray. This all-natural product can do anything you can imagine, from enhancing home repairs to supporting dental hygiene. Here's some testimonies from our happy customers.
This product has absolutely changed my life for the better. It gave my hair a sleek, silky texture before causing it to fall out. But now I don't need to worry about using any gel.
This amazing item replaced my entire kitchen cabinet. When I have friends come over, I only need to remember one secret ingredient in all the dishes I prepare. I even have some friends who like the flavor so much, they use it as mouthwash.
This fantastic product could be yours for the low price of $49.99. Call now and receive 10% off when you buy a box of 6. Change the lives of everyone you love today with David's all-purpose utility spray.
This product is illegal in 5 American states, including Texas, Nevada, New York, Kentucky, and Illinois. The benefits mentioned in this advertisement are most prominent with the gold version of this product, purchasable at your nearest David United dealership for $500. Side effects of this product may include nausea, constipation, susceptibility to malaria, and death.
This product has enriched millions of lives. Change your life for the better today by purchasing David's all-purpose utility spray.
Here we have with us Mr. Torrey, and to get things started, we heard you're a volunteer firefighter. What kind of responsibilities does that role involve?
So being a volunteer firefighter, a lot of people think it's you just volunteer here and there and do whatever whenever you can. Now in Ontario, you have to be fully certified and have all the same qualifications as a career firefighter. And you actually are paid for when you do your training and responding to calls. In the old days, it was volunteer. You just would show up, and it's usually a rural thing, and help your neighbor put out their barn fire. Nowadays, it is you're fully trained, certified. You have to keep up on that certification and that training. And it's a big commitment, but you still are considered volunteer. The correct term should probably be called paid on call.
Would it be correct to say then that you do most of the roles that a normal firefighter would?
Absolutely. We do the exact same thing, like a career firefighter would do. We probably about 75% of our calls are medical calls. So we respond to certain criteria of medical calls. And so we do a lot of things like that. We respond to motor vehicle collisions, car accidents. We respond to fires, structure fires, grass fires, wildland fires, and then any other sort of emergency situations that might come up wherever in that municipality is. So they would call us.
And what sort of training did you go through?
So I'm on 2 different departments, Oro-Medonte and City of Aurelia. And so you have to get trained to each department's own standards. And so for Ormodonte, it's about a year-long process where you recruit and then you train weekends and summertime. And then you also have to complete mandatory certifications. So in the fire service, you have what's called the NFPA standards. And so every firefighter in Ontario needs to be NFPA Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, hazmat certified. And so done all those. And then I've also done a number of additional courses like pump ops, training officer, public educator, company officer, and then also have my commercial boat license and VHF license for operating our marine unit. And then you have to be fully certified in first aid.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes quite some time to, get all those certifications. Yeah.
It is. Yes. It is quite a time commitment. And, especially when you're doing an NFPA, course, some of them can be 4 or 5 days, full days if you're doing a course. And then there's usually 40, 50 hours of pre-course work you have to do, online on yourself. And then you have in person. It's very similar to doing a college or university type credit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It seems pretty intensive.
It is. It's quite intense, but if you enjoy doing it, it's time well spent.
On the topic of enjoying it, what got you into firefighting as a whole?
I've always been, since I can remember, really, I don't know what the proper word would be, but always sort of enticed or excited or intrigued by the first responders, OPP, fire, and then just a few things in my life where I've been around different situations, and think, I could have really helped out in that situation, or I could have been a part of that. And when you're near a situation with a neighbor or friend and you're like, if I just were to sign up and do the training and be a part of it, then, I can help contribute. And so it's been a long time, and it is hard to be a volunteer firefighter when you have young children, because you have to leave at any time in the day and night. So, for example, last night there was a 3 a.m. call. So you're out of bed at 3 a.m., to go to the call, and then you get back. So you may not sleep in the night, and then you go do your regular job.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's been times where, you're doing CPR in the back of an ambulance, and then you get picked up from the hospital and you come to work, and you get changed and shower and come to work. So it's very different, but it's fun, and I enjoy doing it and like helping out people.
All right. Well, thank you for being here with us. It was great talking with you.
Yeah, no problem. It's neat to do it.
All right.
All right. You have a good day.
You too.
For our last guest on this podcast, we have Patrick Fogarty's student, Ava Lee. She is a martial arts enthusiast and often spends her afternoons practicing and teaching. She has competed in several tournaments and has won several awards. It's a pleasure to have you here with us, Ava Lee.
Thank you for having me.
So to start us off, Landon has a couple of questions for you.
What got you into jiu-jitsu in the first place?
It was mainly my parents' idea in the beginning. I was about 9. And, at that time, I didn't really have an opinion of my own. But after a few classes, I was the only girl. But I think that made me feel like, hey, I could do this. It doesn't matter.
So it made you feel just like you were good at it and like just unique in a way?
Yeah, because I could find that when we did sparring, that none of the boys could beat me anyway.
That's fair.
Yeah. What made you stick with jiu-jitsu for so long?
I'd have to say the environment definitely plays a big part in it because we're all like a big family. So that's definitely a big thing. But I think the mental part of it definitely helps as well. Like, how do I word it?
It became a part of your personality, a part of who you were.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Okay. Now, another question. What's your favorite part of jiu-jitsu?
Probably my favorite part about jiu-jitsu will have to be the cardio side of it, but also learning the self-defense. So if I ever get in that situation, I can hold my own.
Yeah.
It's a good reason, I'd say. And what would you say is like your training? Like, how do you train for it?
So usually a class is about an hour, and we would just do takedowns, which is like taking your opponent to the ground. Then you have hold downs, which like keeps them there so they can't like stop you from proceeding. And then sometimes you will do submissions, which is like arm bars, chokes, stuff like that.
So it's more of like technique training over like strength training.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Right.
That makes sense. And for the final question, what sort of person would you recommend jiu-jitsu to?
Really? I would tell anyone to try jiu-jitsu. It's really great for like your mental health and stuff.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And now we arrive at the end of our podcast.
From firefighters to aspiring actors, teachers and students are alike in many ways. We tend to see teachers based on what they do at school, but they have a diverse set of interests that make them very unique people.
Thanks for listening to the first episode of our podcast, After Hours. Stay tuned for our next video. And remember, your interests are what make you who you are.